His beautiful wife, young, I mean, productive. She advanced to being an executive at this company. Yes, been married for 6.5 years now. Had no idea that she was rushing to meet a lover, that she would be in a near comatose state with life support. Yes. But what happened is that her and her husband had a little disagreement. Not even a disagreement, but she didn't want to hear what her husband had to say. So that night they spent a distance from each other. Early in the morning, she tells her husband that it has a meeting at the company. So an hour and a half early meeting, all right, so that she was prepared to go out of the country, go on a trip because her company sent her on trips occasionally and often more than often, right? Anyway, so she had no idea that she would never meet this person again, and then her life hanging in the balance. So we want to take up this story to let it be known that when you cheat, when you violate your vows, your promises, you put yourself in a place of karma. You don't know what's going to happen because they say the wages of sin is death, but you don't know what's going to happen even tomorrow, even if you're doing good. But the point of it is that she put herself in that place and not knowing that her husband, the one she cheated on, would have to feed her, wash her, change her diaper, and then make her comfortable as much as possible. Give her medication, take care of her. Ah, what a thing, what a thing. We never know sometimes. So it's been a minute now since she had this accident. She's coming along pretty good. Uh, she still can't walk, but she can talk now. And in the meantime of her healing, she sees her husband going through her phone and finding out exactly what happened. Now she knows that he knows what went down because she had left and guys said incriminating statements on her phone. Oh yeah, and knowing who it is, what's it all about? Because her husband was like a little bit upset and finding out like why was she in this area speeding, and then said that she had a meeting at the work. A job is almost like a total different direction than what she was in. But in the meantime, she had this crash, and now she's laying down, and she watched her husband going through her phone, and her husband had this look on his face like, "Wow, I don't believe this. I don't believe it," and this hurts. It hurts so bad. Tears rolling down her eyes. Tears were rolling down her husband's eyes in a way. But her husband couldn't really say anything to her because, okay, she's right out of the hospital, going through all of these troubles, um, head injury, spinal injury, can't walk, can't have talk, broken arm, needing all type of medication and stuff, pain pills and stuff, pain. So she's there, and she's like, he found out, but she can't say anything at the moment. At the moment there, but it's been a year and a half now, and the question came up is like, Should the husband say something to her or wait for her to say something to the husband like what happened, what's going down, where's the problem, what went wrong in our relationship? Because the husband would never think that this was going on in the relationship. The husband thought that everything was going good. Well, like I say, sometimes you have to look beyond the nose to see the forest. So she never gave up any red flags, never signs of triggers, anything that anything was wrong. In fact, today we would like to address a lot of situations that come about that, like I said, when you in a place of infidelity, you never know why things happen that way sometimes. Because we do believe that this is like a spiritual warfare. We do believe that this is the demonic spirit that came upon her that maybe entice her to do that. And how would that happen? Well, sometime when they were going on those trips, and this guy would go on the trip with her most of the time, or either sometime her assistant would go with her. But the husband never thought about who was going with her because this big company, you send 2 or 3 people on a meeting or something like that, no matter where, even overseas or wherever, and that was it. Well, I'm in Paris, I'm in Japan, somewhere. I'm going this way, I'm going that way, and the husband never know like, well, who going with you? Now, see, when you mature and you have confidence and trust, you don't ask all of those crazy questions because you know that, hey, your girl is good. You're only going to be there for 2 days or 3 days at the most. You know what I mean? And then that long flight home and everything. Wow, seems like they don't have time. But hey, don't forget, it's 24 hours in a day. And the meeting and negotiating sometime only lasts maybe what, 4 or 5 hours, and you have the rest of the day, or either all day, you have all night. So anyway, so this husband is in a year and a half, and now he's trying to find out or want to know in his mind, in his heart, what happened. Should he ask her or should he not? But he put it out there to the public, like, help me out, guys. What's going on? What do you think? Should he say something or should I wait for her to say something? So the feedback that he got back was like, well, it's been a year and a half now. She's talking good. Her mind is more clear. Say something. But be nice, be kind, be polite. Because during that crucial time when he found out what was going on and what was happening with her phone, he became very angry. The husband became angry, upset, hurt. Um, he had problems and issues at the time. And who could blame him? Who could blame him? But then he remembered that I have to change this woman. I have to feed her. And I'm not going to abuse her because I love her, because that's why we got married. We've been married for 6 years now. So it's been 2 years since she's into this high-powered job, making these 6 figures and all that good stuff. So what's going on? What happened? So he was curious to find out now what went wrong. Was it his fault? Was it her fault? Just influenced because she wasn't the party type. She wasn't that type of a person that go out and shop and spend a lot of crazy money, trying to look good because she looked good anyway. She wasn't kind of flirty, putting herself off on different men and things like that when they did go out for an event. And she had gone to an event sometime without the husband, and always a good report because in a place like this, sometimes somebody know you. So you got to be on your best behavior. And she always was on her best behavior towards her husband and towards society. So anyway, when he found out, when the husband found out that she was messing around, he was upset. And as he go to the phone, finding out that she made these remarks on her phone about how good this man was and how well he was doing things for her and to her. The husband really was getting upset now. So he was getting to be cold towards her, even though he was taking care of her. So now he remembered that he didn't want to be bothered with her anymore. But during the course of that one day where he was like being cold to her, standoffish with an attitude and everything, but still taking care of her, but not showing compassion, not showing love, not showing empathy or understanding or caring. It seemed like the Spirit talked to him about some messages that he heard through the Bible, through the principles of goodness, love, forgiveness. How could you say you love your wife and you now in that state of mind that you don't want to be bothered with her, that you almost wish that she had to perish when she had the accident, but you can't think like that because her blood is on your hand. And that's why sometimes we have to really think about these things before we go off the deep end, before we hurt someone. How do we react when we find out that they're cheating and being betraying on us? So we use wisdom, we use compassion, we use understanding, humility, kindness. Everything had to come together now to give us strength to endure these things, to assess these things, to find out that what what we should do. What did God want us to do? He said, love your enemies even. Do good to those who despitefully use you. Pray for them. Wow. So now he had to change his whole attitude. Not to go back and be lolly lolly and all that good stuff towards her, but just clean up his act, clean up his mindset to show that look, I love you. I care for you. I don't know what happened. At the first, he said, but he lied. He knew what happened, but he had to tell her that to support her. Because at one time, when she realized that he was like being standoffish, that he was having an attitude towards her, she stopped eating. She would not take the food. She didn't even want the water. She wanted to, how you say, starve herself to death. She wanted those pains. She wouldn't take her medicine. She would spit her pain medicine out. But who knows? I just can imagine she had some severe pain. So anyway, it's been a year and a half. What should the husband do? Finding out now that the husband made a decision to approach her, but have to approach her with love, approach her with confidence, approach her with kindness and gentleness and goodness, not to be beating her down, judging her, not to condemn her, but just want answers. And there's a way you have to talk with a person to get answers. Even though he was upset, even though he was like, okay, you can talk to me now. Here it is a year and a half, and I don't know what's going on at you. But he came out with a different approach. Did I do anything wrong? Was I not man enough for you? And why didn't you tell me if I wasn't man enough for you? You could have told me. And if it wasn't that we were connected, because I thought that for all these years we had a good relationship. So I just want to know, is there something that you want to tell me or to say to me? And then let her take up take up the conversation. and talk to him about what went down. How did this come about? Because we know that things like that can come about so easy, so easy. There was one lady that was we talked about in the storyline, like she was waiting on her children to come out of school, and because her husband was treating her bad, her husband kept telling her that she wasn't pretty no more, and she almost lost her value as far as her personality, her character, everything. She almost say, well, he's out there getting dressed and going out there partying, meeting women, and she's at home, and she was upset about it because she loved her husband, but she still had things that she had to do, like take care of the house and everything. And she went to find out what could she do, what happened, what went wrong. But her husband would never even talk to her about the situation. But like I say, while she was waiting for her children to come out of school to walk them back home or however, she met a guy that was just recently divorced while he was waiting on his children. And, he stuck up a conversation, how you doing, this and that and the other, right? Next thing you know, this other friend, the other guy, wanted her to do a favor, like, okay, I have to do something. Would you mind taking my children to your house and I get to come back and pick them up, if you don't mind, for at least a half an hour or something like that, because I have this very, very important thing to do. Because he thought that he could be comfortable with her and her children, the kids, talk with each other and everything like that, right? Anyway, later on down the road, her and this other friend, this guy that just got divorced, started talking because the guy gave her compliments. The guy gave her accolades. The guy gave her a sense of value, talking with her. And that's why sometimes some of these women just need somebody to really talk to. Not only just to say, okay, you're pretty, how you say, just give them good compliments and this kind of stuff, to let them know that, hey, I care. Because inconsideration is also a bad thing, just like the husband was doing to this other lady. He was being inconsiderate to her. But when you start to giving somebody attention, okay, too much attention sometimes can put their head up in the clouds sometimes like that. But anyway, so this may be what happened to this man's wife that had the accident. So maybe this guy that was with her on these trips, hey, let's go down and have a dinner. Okay, we're after this meeting, and let's talk about the meeting. Let's talk about what's going on, strategy, this, that, the other. She got comfortable. Then next thing you know, this guy probably was, oh wow, look, you're beautiful today. Oh, you smell so good, this and that, the other. Compliments. Compliments. She's away from her husband. And yet and still, there's another thing that we say that we don't say too much or too often enough, is that a woman has a biological situation going on in her body that brings about certain action, certain feelings, certain urges, certain desires more than often. God prepared her from the head of her toe, from the top of her head to the tip of her toe, with sensation and sensual nerve endings. The right person could touch a woman just about anywhere and get a reaction. So maybe this guy knew that. Maybe he didn't know it. But maybe at that time, when she was tired, needed to be relaxed and everything, he just happened to maybe rub her shoulder or something. Purely innocent. But that mentality, that emotion, hey, brought on a feeling. And then, how you say, if you're never going through these trials before, those feelings can bring about other feelings. Those feelings can bring about situations that you never thought could happen. So this is why so many times we do these things, go to these places, not because she was, how you say, hot and heavy. But these things that just can come, especially around that time when a woman is in her days, or right before her days. She's highly, highly sensitive. Sometimes a man just don't know, don't care, not aware of those tastes. But when you start to knowing your partner's body, knowing your partner's behaviors, then sometimes you could like say things or do things, bring them more aware that, hey baby, that okay, I'll see when you get home, something special for you, this, that, and the other. And maybe sometimes she was just like, no, I'm gonna wait to go home. I don't know what my husband got. And then when you get back home, does he know how to treat her? Does the husband know what to say to her? How was the trip? And then going back to sleep or going to the game and stuff like that. Ask those questions. Oh, where are your pictures? Let me see pictures. I know you take pictures. Then expect pictures all the time. Oh, wow, this looks like a little cozy spot. You know what I mean? Who was with you? Who was the trip? You know what I mean? Where your crew? Where the team that you guys was on? Little innocent things that now, if she say that don't ask these kinds of questions, then you know those are red flags. But in the meantime, there was no red flags given, and now she has to be taken care of, having her diaper changed, being washed down, and cheated on the man that she know that loves her so much. What will she say? And we would like to get into that one day. So, wonderful people, stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's coming. Oh yeah, it's coming. And the more and more, we're gonna get to the bottom of this and see what she have to say about what went down. Because now the husband understands and knows that I have to forgive her. I must forgive her. But for forgiving her, like we said, is not that to join in the situation. Forgiveness is to forgive that act that happened yesterday or before the past. The future act, it has to be dealt with in a future way. There's no how you say one time forgiveness covers all. No, 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 no. Each act requires a different type of forgiveness or another forgiveness. And this is why we have to learn each and every day. This is why we learn to be loved and to give love, show love, and they have a meaning of love, to let it, love be felt, let love be known. But love covers a multitude of wrongdoing, and love is a strong tower. True love is a strong tower. So don't throw people away, because how you say, God didn't throw us away. Every time we stumped a toe and said a bad word, didn't you know that he said the wages of sin is death? One sin is just as bad as another sin, but then he said, oh, he messed up our minds. That there are sins that are not unto death. Like, which one? He never said. So that means keep yourself in a good place at all time anyway. And sometimes we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes we're just going to make bad choices. That is, it wasn't a mistake. Oh, well, something happened. One thing led to another, and I made a mistake. No, you didn't make a mistake. You had a bad choice. You didn't fight hard enough. And then you wasn't conscious of where this was going and where it was leading to. You let that spirit enter into you, and then you didn't know how to fight back because you wasn't thinking about the spiritual aspect of what you were doing and the consequences of what you were doing. You thought about it, baby, but hey, and that's what's going on. Always, always in the bad place. So with that, wonderful people, we thank you for being with us again, and we want you to take care and hope that something was said that could bring a little order, bring a little sensitivity into the situation. Forgiveness is so important, but that doesn't mean that You'll let somebody run over you and walk over you because, like it would say, forgiveness is for the sin that was done. If you do something again, then you have to be, you forgive, but you have to make declarations. You have to like, okay, don't cross this line. Set boundaries. Set boundaries more and more and more. But then again, that's gonna make you look like how you call it, a jailer. No, but let it be known that every person has to answer to their own situation, go before the judgment for their own life and their own salvation, and let it be known. So when you catch your spouse, uh, think that your spouse is doing something crazy, out of proportion, inappropriate. Just let them know, hey, you're gonna have to go before the throne of judgment, and then there is no such thing as a 5-day sentence in hell, uh, in a bad place, unless you repent, unless you come before the judge, ask for mercy. It's just as long for cussing as it is for other things. Think about it. None of these things will enter into the kingdom of God. So think about it, wonderful people. With that in mind, take care, be blessed, and we'll see you again. So this is Michael Jones. Desire to excel at peopleinlove.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because now we know that we have the power to defeat pornography, addictions, depression, and infidelity. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and be blessed in all you're doing. Bye now.